It's Cher here. And I have been going through a year and a half of total life transition. And today I'm feeling really kind of sick of it and just really down. And so I wanted to just talk to you and share with you some of the things that have been going on with me. Hopefully that you can relate to those things as well. And maybe through sharing, with you some of the things that I do to try to help myself and make myself feel better, you'll be able to relate and it will help you too. For the last year and a half, I decided to do real estate, not because I loved it in my heart, but because I needed to figure out something to do and I didn't want to do a 9-to-5 job. And it really was a huge challenge for me that hasn't really worked out, but I think it hasn't worked out because it's not something in my heart. And last year, my brother died and my father died very unexpectedly, and they died a month apart. And then as soon as I got over that and started feeling better, my granddaughter, who I'm like a mother to, she moved to Washington. So I had a huge grieving process with that. And then I just had gone through a lot of struggles financially and trying to start a new business. And I own 2 homes and was supposed to sell one, and then that one didn't sell, and I don't even know which home I'm going to live in and how I'm going to live sometimes financially from day to day. And after a while, it just really starts to grind on you. And yet, through this whole process, I'm following my heart in a way that I've never done before. And I'm totally trusting the universe in everything that I do. If something doesn't feel right, I don't do it, even though logically, my brain says, you need to go get a job and you need to have money. And just recently, I had a job opportunity, but I think that I'm moving out to the country and the commute would be too much, and it didn't feel fair to take that job just for the money and knowing I'd only work it for 2 months and then have to quit. But there was a part of me, my ego wanted to do that because I need the money. And it was like, you're stupid for passing this up. And yet I remember the concept of we're all one, and I wouldn't want to be treated like that. I wouldn't want somebody lying to me and starting in my business thinking they're going to stay and then having them quit in 2 months. It didn't feel right to me and I didn't want to lie. So it wasn't in line with my integrity, and I passed up this job, but then my ego is like kicking my butt, for that, saying I did the wrong thing. And it's just sometimes my spirituality can feel like I don't know, my ego asks, is this spiritual stuff even working for you? Because if it was working, your life would be successful. And it's not like my life is horrible. When I live in the now, everything's fine. I mean, I'm well provided for and I have a beautiful home, but everything's always up in the air and nothing's known. And I know the direction I want to go, but I have no idea how things are going to turn out. And sometimes, I don't know about you, I'm sure I can't be the only one, you just get sick of it. I'm sick of it. I want to have some knowns. I want to have a steady income. I want to do the work that I love, which is creating this website, and I am doing it. I don't know. It's a new website. I don't know how this is going to go over. And so things can just feel really frustrating. And for me, the ego voices start. And like I said, the first thing they say is, if your spirituality was working for you, then you would be successful. Or it tells me you're doing it wrong. Your spirituality, because your life looks like such a mess, you must not be successful, so you're doing this wrong. But I know in my heart that that's not true, that it's just my ego telling me these things because it can only understand life through object consciousness. And object consciousness is looking on the outside and judging something and saying this is what it is. But us on the spiritual path, we know better. We know that life is not what it appears to be. That if you study quantum physics, you know that nothing is solid, that everything is vibrating and has lots of space in between it. But to the physical senses, it looks like a solid table or a solid desk, but it's not. Life is not as it appears to be, as we can perceive it through the human form. And I know this in my heart, which is why I just keep following my heart. And life is taking care of me, I will admit that, but I want things to be known. And I get so frustrated. And then my ego comes in and it beats me up and tells me, that I'm not doing it right, or I'm not good enough, or whatever. And it's just a really weird process of cycling round and round. And I remember reading, I love Mike Dooley, and he's all about thoughts become things. You know, he's all about our thoughts and beliefs creating our reality, which I believe is very, very true. And I'm constantly working on mine, and all the stuff that I'm sharing with you, I am living this and doing it right along with you and sharing my tips. But Mike talked about how if you're looking in a mirror and you want to shave, you realize that you need a shave, you don't put shaving cream on the mirror and try and shave what you're seeing on the surface. You have to work with the being inside, the real person right here. And life is very much that same way. I know that it's not about trying to manipulate the things outside of me, such as getting a job that I don't want, that my heart doesn't really want. I don't want to settle for those things and just follow the herd and work the 8 to 5 and live out this last phase of my life doing whatever I have to do to just survive. That's not what my spirit wants. And I think that that's not what millions of us want. We're getting sick of that. We're leaving that space as we awaken and become more conscious. I want to work with my inside. And sometimes, you know, physical life is a process. And I have to remind myself of this all the time. It's a process and things take time. But when you live in the now, there's always enough and I can enjoy what I have. And I just have to learn to trust life and keep going through these unfolding stages of transition. And I do believe that eventually everything's going to work itself out, and I'll have a solid home and know where I'm going to live, and I'll have a steady income, and I'll be doing work that I love, and I didn't sacrifice my being and sell my soul just to survive, you know, that I hung in there and trusted the universe. And I really, really want to encourage you to do the same thing if you're in a state that you're like me, where it's just been one continual challenge and thing after another and nothing seems to be coming together. There are a couple of practices that I've done when I've gotten in this really negative, frustrated, exhausted space. And one of the things that might be helpful to you, that was very helpful to me, is take one day to let go of all of your problems, let go of any past and any idea of the future. Let go of those concepts and just live today now. And when I do that, it changes everything. If I forget about past and future, I have no concept of that. Therefore, I don't have any problems. So I don't think and live in those state of stress and anxiety over my problems and how's my life going to unfold and what am I going to do. I'm just living in the now moment. It is so helpful and refreshing. So I would like to suggest that you take one day to just live like that. And for me, what I find is that then I wake up the next day and it's like, I like living like that. I don't want to live like I was anymore, so I'm going to do it again. I'm going to pretend that there's no past and no future, and I'm just going to live now. And this always puts me on a path, and then something cool happens. Something really, I must align myself and start allowing my good, and I'll have little miracles. I'll receive extra money in the mail, or somebody will give me money, or something special will happen, and things just get better. So it's a really cool way to get into to stop the nonsense of the ego and just snap yourself out of it, deal with, and just live in that day and see what happens. And another thing that I've done when I've been feeling like, I'm getting nowhere and life isn't working and I'm just so sick and frustrated of feeling stuck and nothing happening, I look over like the last 3 months and I have to ask myself, what are the gifts in this? Because there are always gifts in life. And if I'm really honest with myself and I take time to reflect on it, I always find some type of gifts. I'm developing a quality inside myself, or I've learned that I'm flowing with life way better, and things that used to traumatize me or freak me out no longer even matter. So I see progress in myself in that way. Or it'll be a gift where it's getting me to think different, or it's leading me in a new direction that maybe I wasn't even aware of, that Spirit really is wanting to do something different from me, and it's needing me to wake up. And another practice I do when I'm just, sick and frustrated with it all and impatient, I envision the life that I want. And I'm very, very clear on what my soul's agenda is and what it wants to express in the world and experience. And so I mentally imagine that scene, which, you know, for me is being out in the country and I'm around horses and I love my home and I'm making a nice living. I don't have to deal, worry about money at all. I'm happy, I'm with friends, I have this whole vision. And so I go into that vision and I ask myself, what is the essence of this vision? What qualities? Like, for instance, I'm in between homes right now. I've got my house on the market, and I've got a house that I own that I want to move back to in the country. And my tenants are there for 2 more months, and my house hasn't sold yet. So I know I've got a couple of months, and I'm not sure how all this is going to pan out. I'm not even sure if I'll end up back at the other house. So right now I'm feeling a little in between and kind of not homeless, but just unknown. I don't have any roots. I don't know where I'm going, and I want to set roots down. And it's really hard to kind of be in limbo like that. And so I imagine myself back in my country home and feeling settled and saying, what is the essence that I'm receiving from that? And the essence of that for me is I'm feeling a sense of security. I'm peaceful. I'm feeling rooted and grounded to the earth so I can blossom and do my work. I'm feeling settled and calm. And these qualities are the essence. Well, I can live those qualities today. I don't need to know what house I'm living in to feel rooted and grounded and peaceful and calm. And so I think this is a really good practice. For me, it's been very, very helpful when I just simply align to the essence of what I think all these things I'm wanting and waiting to have happen will bring me. It really brings the feeling of it into me now. And I get not just the feeling, I get to have the experience of it now, where there's no reason to wait. And when we do that, then we stop being so frustrated, and all of a sudden we're willing to be more patient. It's not such a big deal that life moves along faster, that I get through this transition faster, and my frustration kind of melts away, and I can actually, once again, return to the now, which is ideally the only time we really have. It's the only thing that is really real, and it connects me back up to my spirit, and I get back into the flow, and then once I'm in the flow, then those good things can happen. It's just taking a lot more time than I thought it would for my life to get to this point where it's feeling 100% genuine me, where everything in it works, the home that I live in and the money that I make and the work that I do and the things that I do with my time are truly things that my soul wants to do and live and experience in this world. And it's so worth it. I know we all get so frustrated, but I remind myself through these practices and also just in this moment, it is so worth it that I don't want to give up, and I don't want to just cave in and go get a job and return back to that. That'll suck my energy and it's going to change everything. It'll ruin it for me. I'm going to follow my heart, and I'm going to stay with this path that I'm on, and I'm trusting it, and I know it's unfolding, and it's unfolding in its perfect time, not as quickly as I want, but it is unfolding, and I will be sharing that with you as it does. And I just want to encourage you to hang in there. If you're in the same state as I am, hang in there. You're doing great. Don't listen to your ego. You're not doing it wrong. You're not a failure. You're just a person on a path of consciousness. And it's new and it's different, and we are the pioneering people of it. And so just hang in there, go with the flow, trust the universe, and keep following your heart. And we will share these stories together, and we're going to make it through. And our lives are going to unfold and become the life of our dreams. We're doing just fine. So anyway, I hope this helps. It helped me to talk about it and to share with you, and it uplifted me. So I'm going to go back through and do those practices again today to keep myself going. And I hope it's helpful, and thanks, and we'll see you next time.